Blog Talk Radio.
Today's franchise interview shout-out goes to Ceterus. As a franchise entrepreneur, dealing with your finances, accounting, and tax preparation can be a headache. Ceterus specializes in franchise accounting and takes care of all that work for you, while giving you full access to your financial data and benchmark reporting through their platform. Ceterus Edge is built on top of QuickBooks Online. While they offer tax accounting, many of their customers also retain their current CPA and use Ceterus for month-to-month accounting and benchmark reporting, which their CPAs love. Here are some of the key benefits of Ceterus. Do-it-for-me accounting and bookkeeping. Benchmark reporting. A team, not a person. Industry-specific expertise. Professional response times. Security. Cloud-based technology. And mobile access. If you sign up through this podcast, you'll get 50% off your first 2 months. To learn more about Ceterus franchise accounting and benchmark reporting solution, please visit www.ceterus.com/franchise interviews. That's CETERUS.com/franchise interviews.
Franchise interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Welcome to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 10 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show. Today, Franchise Interviews is celebrating National Sandwich Day. 3 fantastic sub-franchise opportunities, and they include Erbert and Gerbert Subs, Milios Subs, and Penn Station East Coast Subs. And that's coming right up on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we have a great show.
The Stone Coat Franchise Opportunity. Are you looking for a unique and lucrative franchise opportunity? If so, take a look at Stone Coat. With a patented process which creates a true stone finish on almost any wall or ceiling, Stone Coat is a true game-changing product in the multi-billion-dollar construction industry. Stone Coat is applied faster, cleaner, and cheaper than conventional quarried stone, which saves both time and money. With advantages in remodel and new construction of both residential and commercial projects, Stone Coat is a true crossover product. The Stone Coat franchise opportunity provides a low startup cost, low operating expenses, comprehensive training, ongoing support, and no royalty payments. For more information on the Stone Coat franchise opportunity, go to www.stonecoatfranchise.com. That's www.stonecoatfranchise.com, or call us at 972-380-2700. That's 972-380-2700.
Franchise Teacher.
Would you like to know how to franchise your concept or grow your franchise business?
Meet the experts at Franchise Teacher.
The goal of Franchise Teacher is to teach, coach, consult, and advise. The team of experts at Franchise Teacher will evaluate your business model and present you with a winning business strategy.
Franchise Teacher will help you decide whether or not your concept works and if it's franchisable. Franchise Teacher is proud to have over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors.
Franchise Teacher are developers of over a dozen franchise systems, which include brick and mortar as well as home-based concepts of nearly 3,000 combined franchise locations.
Whether you need to add more units or get more customers, Franchise Teacher can help. We will teach.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn our proven system.
Coach.
Franchise Teacher will help you provide a game plan to succeed.
Consult.
Franchise Teacher will make sure you stay on track.
And advise.
Franchise Teacher will help you learn from our over 30 years of experience in franchising as both franchisees and franchisors. Take advantage of our free, no-obligation phone consultation. Simply go to franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
That's franchiseteacher.com or call us at 561-385-3032.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you're listening to Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 10 years now, we've been asking the Franchipreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show. Today, Franchise Interviews is celebrating National Sandwich Day with 3 fantastic sub-franchise opportunities, and they include Erbert and Gerbert Subs, Milios Subs, and Penn Station East Coast Subs. National Sandwich Day is observed annually on November 3rd, and the sandwich is believed to be the namesake of John Montagu, of the 4th Earl of the Sandwich, following the claim that he was the inventor of the sandwich. And this day honors America's most popular lunch items. And why don't we go right into our first interview with the Erbert and Gerbert's franchise opportunity.
There's always an interesting story we find behind every franchise. We've been doing this show now 6 years, and I suspect it's the same for Erbert and Gerbert's, Chuck. So I thought, maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, Erbert and Gerbert Sandwich Shops actually started in 1988 out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And Kevin and Beth Shippers are the founders of the company. They started the store there right on the Water Street location. And in 1988, it was the uniqueness of Erbert and Gerbert's is our sandwich names. In the history of it is that the Kevin's father told his kids stories about Erbert and Gerbert Herbert. And they traveled through space and time, and every single character within the stories had something to do with education or math or story or space. You've got things like Comet Candy and Boney Billy and Gurf and Narmer, these different names of these characters that were told by these stories. And so over the course of time, when Kevin decided he wanted to be in the sandwich business, he decided that why not take these stories and turn them into sandwiches. So instead of a number 1 or a 2 or a turkey sandwich, it's a Boney Billy. Instead of a roast beef, it's a Comet Candy. So those stories are still woven within the fabric of our brand throughout the country, and the 14 original sandwiches and 14 original names of those sandwiches are still intact, as well as our other sandwiches. As we've added sandwiches, we've actually added stories for those sandwiches to match up with our history.
I love stories like that, Chuck. It certainly adds to, I think, like the culture and the personality of the franchise, doesn't it? It just makes it fascinating. That's fantastic.
And the thing is, the part, Marty, that's really interesting is that we find it's educational. Because there are stories that we are able to take into schools, hospitals, and other places where we have a story to tell, especially for entertaining children. And and there's a little bit of that educational basis, so I think that's the other part that really does work for us.
Absolutely, yeah, which is so important. I was recently at a franchise show last weekend, Chuck, and it was in New York. And, it's funny, as my wife and I were walking around, you see a lot of prospective franchisees are coming up to the table, and it seems like the typical question always is, so what do you guys do? How do you typically respond to someone when someone asks you that question?
Well, I think the typical response is that we we actually produce a terrifically flavorful sandwich, cold sandwiches with high-quality vegetables and high-quality meats, proteins, and we have proprietary soups. So what we have is what I would call is the best of all worlds, and that is a high-quality, flavorful sandwich, a proprietary, recipe-driven soup lineup. We have a dozen soups that we are actually own the recipes for, and then of course we have our the sodas and the chips and the other peripheral items and treats. But really, the core of our business is very simple, and that is it's a quality sandwich product and a really high quality soup product.
Wow, that's fantastic. These shows, I got to tell you though, they're always tough for me, especially if I haven't had breakfast. It's I knew this was going to be a tough one this morning. Yeah. It's just funny. What's your favorite, Chuck? I mean, do you have a favorite? Favorite
I
sandwich?
actually have a couple of them, but really I think that the one for me that gets it all done is the Flash, which has the ham and the capicola and the salami and oregano and vinegar, and it's just lettuce, tomato, and we have we've done a couple of new things over the past few years. We've added some really what I would call signature flavors, where we've added a pepperdew mustard, which most people don't know what a pepperdew mustard is. It's a South African pepper that really has a unique flavor to it. We've added a pesto mayo, and what we've done is we've taken the ordinary sandwich and plussed it up and given it more flavor. And our little tagline, I guess, or our umbrella for our brand, as we call ourselves Flavor Nation, because that's where you can find the best flavors in the world. And so, I look at it as being able to deliver a quality, freshly baked bread, which we bake every day in our ovens in the stores. We slice all our own meat, cheeses in the store, and that in itself just brings a unique flavor to everything that we do. We also have added one thing that I don't believe anybody else in the industry has added. We have a French white bread, and then we also or sub roll, and then we have a honey wheat. But we also added on last year in December, we added a gluten-free roll to our menu. And so what we looked at is what are the needs of the people that we're serving right now? What are the guests asking for? And one of the things that we spurred was that the gluten-free is an option that most people don't have. We did the research. We partnered with Udi's Breads out of Denver, and put together a program which we have had so much. I can't tell you the number of people that have come back to us saying it's the first time they've had a sandwich in years. And they're so appreciative of that. But I believe we're the only sandwich shop out there that's introduced that gluten-free, and it's been a very, very nice, had a positive effect on our business.
That's fantastic. We're speaking with Chuck Schwalbe, the Director of Marketing for the Erbert & Gerbert's franchise opportunity. And one of the questions we've been asking recently on the show, Chuck, is how has technology, or how do you guys use technology? Has it played a big part of the business? I guess it's changed, right, since 1988 when you guys just started to where you are today.
Yeah, technology has taken. We do a lot more with technology right now. Everything from our POS systems to our social media to the effect of what I might say social media effect in doing other things. Email marketing is part of our program. Text marketing. We also run a campaign that I like to call, it's basically a catering campaign. And the catering campaign is designed to really let people know that we have catering available. And with catering available, it's great to always have a message out there. And so we've used an email marketing tool to actually go out and tap our business community on the shoulder once a week and say, hey, if you're doing catering this week, we've got a great opportunity for you at either our box lunches, which we do, which includes a cookie and a chip and a pickle, or we've got platters, sandwich platters that are available, as well as salads. And so it's an opportunity for us to tap people on the shoulder electronically, and they can either open the email and say, wow, great, we'll order something, or they can say, nope, not interested, and move on. So it's
right. The technology is fascinating. Yeah, it is. It truly is fascinating. And it's, it's one of the things they're getting too, Chuck, is, they're getting, someone like yourself, who understands and appreciates, the, social media and things like that. A lot of times when people are, they want to do something like this on their own, a lot of times they just don't know how to do it, you know what I mean? So certainly one of the many advantages of getting into franchise, I imagine, right? Is having that marketing expertise among a lot of other things with a strong brand and strong product and all that other stuff. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think that, Marty, one of the other things that's very important is that with our systems that we've put in place, keeping it simple and also keeping the quality, consistently having the highest quality products and the highest quality people to service, the guest is a very important piece of that puzzle. And I think right now, we have systems in place, a fantastic group of people with a tremendous amount of experience. I think the last time we looked at the experience level of our executive teams and the people that are in our corporate office, it was in the restaurant industry, it was about over 140 years, I believe, of experience. And bringing that experience to the table for a entrepreneur or someone in a multi-unit situation that's looking for a franchise opportunity is a really big plus, because they're not coming into something that they're going to have to try and figure out for themselves. Many of the systems, all of the systems are in place, the marketing, the operations, the training, everything is in place, the real estate portion, which is very important. Right now we have multiple real estate opportunities around the country in markets that we're looking at. The thing that we haven't been able to find enough of, which is unfortunate, is franchisees that are ready to go. We'd love to be able to open more and more stores, and we are going to open 20 stores this year. But there are opportunities that we have been searching for, and we really are looking for quality franchise people that could come into our business and our brand and have their own business, but have all the support systems that are available to be successful right out of the gate.
That's great. What kind of real estate or location do you look for, Chuck? What is the ideal location? But what do you typically look for in a location? How much space is required?
Well, we look like it depends upon about 900 to 1,200 square feet is about perfect. And it depends upon different markets. We have different positions in different markets. More of a college market. We have college locations that are by campuses. We have suburban locations that might even be inline in a mall. We have central business district or downtown locations, which are a little bit different formula. We have some skyway locations. And right now our focus has been on end cap drive-through opportunities. We've opened eight end cap drive-through locations in the last 6 months, and we are finding that those are very successful for the franchisee. And but all of those potential locations are in the mix of our business right now, and we know that how to make those successful on each one of those cases.
That's great. You were talking a little bit about the franchisees earlier, Chuck. What does Erbert and Gerbert look for in their franchisees? It sounds like you don't necessarily have to have restaurant experience to get into something like this.
No, I would say that the restaurant experience would be a plus, but I don't believe a restaurant experience is a necessary piece of the business right now because.
If you'd like to hear that whole interview with the Erbert and Gerbert's franchise interview, all you have to do is go to franchiseinterviews.com, go to franchise interviews by category, and then go to our food category, and you can listen to that whole fantastic interview. And coming up, we're going to play a clip from our interview with the Milios Subs franchise opportunity coming up right here on Franchise Interviews.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing, helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers Low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822. Franchisers, are you looking to reach aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise? Are you looking to reach a highly educated audience on franchising? For over 8 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Our weekly franchise radio show where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys, and our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919. Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 10 years now, we've been asking the Franchipreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show. Well, today, Franchise Interviews is celebrating National Sandwich Day with 3 fantastic sub-franchise opportunities, and they include Erbert and Gerbert Subs, Milios Subs, and Penn Station East Coast Subs. And National Sandwich Day is actually held tomorrow, which is November 3rd, and the sandwich is believed to be the namesake of John Montagu, 4th Earl of the Sandwich, following the claim that he was the inventor of the sandwich. So why don't we go right into our interview with the Milios Sub franchise opportunity.
Which is great. You come from a family, I guess you can say, of this type of business, don't you, Mike?
Yes, restaurant has been in the blood of the Leoto family for a number of years. There are a lot of our family members have been in the restaurant business, and it's been very good to our family.
That's fantastic. Did you want to talk a little bit about, the history of the organization? Because I know you have an interesting history.
Yeah, well, we've been in business for just shy of 25 years. We started our business in March of 1989 in Madison, Wisconsin. We really started out as an operating company. I personally opened up about 30 corporate stores or so over about a 18-year period or so. And then looking at my competition out there and how fast they were moving, and especially in this exciting industry of the sandwich segment in the restaurant business, I made a decision to get into franchising. It allowed me to bring in additional partners and grow a little bit faster. So we actually started out as an operating company for about the first 18 years or so, and then the last 6 or 7 we've been enjoying the franchise business.
That's fantastic. They always say that 25 years number. I mean, as long as we've been doing this show too, Mike, they've always said that 25-year mark is always a significant number, isn't it? I mean, it's a I guess it's a milestone, so you can say. That you've been doing it a quarter of a century is significant.
Well, what happens after 25 years is you've built a team of very solid individuals that you explicitly trust, and you become a better manager, at least I did, over that 25-year period. So you have a lot less uncertainty out there. You have a lot more ability to analyze your numbers and use benchmarking and past performance results to make your decisions. When you first come out and start your own business, you really don't have a clue or anything of what to benchmark against, how you're doing, and these kinds of things. So, number one, your debt service is less after this amount of time, and your team is much more stable, and so is your system. So, you just don't have those high ups and downs like we used to. It's a lot more steady of a business.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, your franchisees can learn from, of course, your mistakes that, of course, you've made over the, 25 years, and your successes as well, which has made sense for you guys to, go into franchising. How do you describe a Milios Sandwich franchise system to someone? If they came up to your booth at like a franchise show and they say, what do you guys do? Where do you typically go from there?
Well, I'll tell you, our real objective as far as our franchisee relationship is to build wealth and equity for the franchisees. That's really what it's all about. If we can get these guys to build value of their business, build equity in their business, and create a lifestyle that's balanced, that's really what we're after more than anything else. And then the rest is basically all support. You had mentioned earlier, Marty, that from my mistakes, it will eliminate mistakes for these partnerships that we bring in, and that's very, very true. When you team up with a franchisor that is a seasoned franchisor, you are definitely going to make less mistakes. You're going to take the advantages of their purchasing and marketing power, and that's a heck of a benefit. So basically what it is build the wealth and equity, and then, of course, we're a support and mentoring company. You know, we help with the site selection, lease negotiations, build out of the stores, opening, and then ongoing training and support and mentoring programs. So really what it is it's a person or a group of people that really understand the business, know how to analyze the business, and we use those tools to aid the franchisee in developing opportunities for their business as well.
You mentioned tools, Mike. It must be interesting from, like 25 years ago, when you got into this thing to, how has technology played a role in your business today? How is it different?
Technology is huge. It started out with this website stuff, and I didn't really know much about the website. I didn't believe that would really sell me any sandwiches. And today we're pulling in over $2 million in sales due to the website. So we put on an ordering system that they don't even have to pick up the phones anymore. Another big change in technology, of course, is the social media, the tweeting and the just sending them messaging and these kinds of things. It's a brand new industry that I don't think anybody really has their arms around on how to make that as profitable as you can. But that's been a real interesting development in technology. And then I guess the third one probably would be just their POS systems and how they've advanced to be able to analyze your product mixes, transactions, couponing, and all these kinds of things. It's a marvelous tool to help you control your environment in your own store there. So basically the technology advances that I've seen in my career is social media, website, and then this POS system.
Wow, that's something. What's been the most interesting thing that's happened to you since starting this whole thing? Like, I mean, I'm sure you have 100 stories, but is there anything that stands out or anything most interesting to you?
What's really interesting to me more than anything is watching the development of my personnel. My right-hand gal who runs all my operations, she was the first employee I hired 25 years ago, and I believe she was about 21 years old at that particular time. She was fresh out of college. And Gerard Halminski, my director of franchise operations, he's been on the team here for 12 years, but we've had a relationship for the full 25 years. And then I go down into my stores and my general managers and stuff like that, and I have a number of them that have been with me over 15 and 20 years. And to watch those people develop into strong individuals, build families, buy their first house and their second house, and just become very good people, that really is very exciting to me. And I got to throw myself into that pool as well, too, my own personal development and these kinds of things. That's truly what excites me more than anything, is watching these people really gel, work together as a team, watch each other's back, and that's probably one of my most gratifying things of being in business.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So what types of characteristics do you look for in your franchisees, Mike, and what were they doing maybe like in their past life?
Yeah, well, they come from all different worlds, our franchisees. Some of them have been firemen. Some of them have been business owners. Some of them are just been having a good career going somewhere, and they just get fed up with the corporate America, and they feel that they have the confidence and self-esteem and ability to run their own business, and then they decide to make that leap. So they really come from quite a bit of different walks of life.
Yeah.
But really what we look for more than anything when we evaluate our franchisees is we look at what kind of person this is. Is he a hard worker? What, give me an idea of his track record, what they do, and, with proper interviewing, you can find out if these people have had challenges in their life, how they dealt with those challenges, and if they overcame those challenges. So, this is the food business, and you got to be a hands-on operator to be successful. Yeah. So we really totally look at what kind of values this person comes up with. Second thing we look at, of course, is incredibly important, is their financial stability. Are they going to get into this endeavor on a shoestring, or do they have some cushion and this kind of thing? It's really important to get into business and have some extra capital on the side that you could tap into in the event that you need it. If you don't have that, you could have a very good business, that's going, and you can't get through a month or two of bad times. Doesn't mean your business is bad. It means your cash position is bad.
Of course.
So we really look at their financial wherewithal and their safety net in the event that they need some working capital. And then the third most important thing that we feel is crucial is their ability to own their community. Do they have the values of being able to go out and sell their business? Some people don't like selling, and they feel more comfortable just sitting back. They don't like rejection and these kinds of things. So we really feel that if a person has the proper financing, understands that they got to work hard and put in their time in the trenches, and they can go out and market their business with our systems and our backup and our support, we feel they will be highly successful. So those are basically the three main things that we look at.
Yeah, it's important. So once someone decides
important.
that they want to become a franchisee, what's the training like from there?
Well, the training, we give 250 hours of training. We probably have more training than most of our competitors out there. But we feel very strongly that when you get out there on your own, we want to make sure that you know the system. That's very crucial. So we give them 50 hours in a classroom environment where they will learn things such as accounting, POS system, marketing strategies, scheduling, anything that you could do in an office atmosphere. And then we follow up with 200 hours of in-store training where they learn everything from how to unlock the door to mop the floors to making the sandwiches to scheduling, anything that involves daily operations. So they get 200 hours of that, and then when they open their store up, we'll send a team of individuals in for the first week to make sure that their staff is trained and just kind of get them going and get them comfortable with their environment. And then more important than anything, that's very important stuff, but we have a tremendous follow-up program where we're constantly evaluating the progress of our franchisees. I mean, we look at and evaluate their P&L statements on a quarterly basis. We come into their stores and do what we call QSC, Quality Service and Cleanliness Reports. And these are not to be a policeman, but these are really more.
If you'd like to hear that whole interview with Big Mike of the Milios Subs franchise opportunity, all you have to do is go to franchiseinterviews.com, go to our franchise interviews by category page, and then go to our food page. And coming up, we have another great interview with the Penn Station East Coast Subs franchise opportunity.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors.
The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com. Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you're listening to Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 10 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show. Well, today, Franchise Interviews is celebrating National Sub Sandwich Day with 3 fantastic sub-franchise opportunities, and they include the Erbert and Gerbert Subs, Milios Subs, and Penn Station East Coast Subs. And why don't we go right into our interview with the Penn Station East Coast Subs franchise opportunity.
For many years. So congratulations on all that. I mean, I think that's fantastic. It sounds like you're doing a very good job over there.
Well, I appreciate that. We really attribute our success to a couple of different things. It's I think first and foremost, it's our franchisee base, because they're the ones on the front line every day. And then I think secondly, it's a consistent product that our franchisees serve to consumers.
Yeah, and it's funny, we were reading testimonials from your franchisees in the beginning of the show, and that seemed to be the theme of Penn Station. There's something interesting. It was one of your franchisees, I think it was Max Montoya. He was saying that he liked the idea of a medium-sized franchise where he could walk into the president's office and discuss things, and he said you can't do that with McDonald's and you can't do that with Subway. And we tell our listeners all the time, Craig, we say try it, try calling the president of McDonald's up and see if he can answer a question about the franchise, and you'll never get him to call you back, So I think that's, again, another great advantage of going into, a medium size type of franchise like yours.
Well, we believe that the key to any successful relationship, we strongly believe, is communication. And everyone at Penn Station has an open-door policy with respect to our franchisees. We've got a franchisee advisory council, which is a consortium of 5 ladies and gentlemen from different regions of the country. And the reality is most of the changes that come through the system come from our franchisees. We listen to their questions and their concerns, and we don't do everything that they want to do. We first and foremost, we have to have an eye on the integrity of the brand, and sometimes smaller franchisees have pet projects that they like that, for the greater good of 225 restaurants, as you mentioned, may not be the best thing. But we listen and evaluate every idea, regardless of its merit, frankly.
Yeah, that's so important. We would like to ask our guests where you're calling from this morning, Craig.
I'm calling from our corporate offices in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, fantastic. And I know you have an interesting background. If you could just tell our listeners, maybe a little bit about what you were doing before, coming to Penn Station and working with the organization.
Well, my background actually came through the world of public accounting. I was a partner at a regional accounting firm in Louisville, Kentucky, one of the largest regional firms at the time, and I practiced public accounting for 15 years.
Wow,
my segue into the restaurant industry was actually in the mid to late 80s. I became a Papa John's franchisee. Another gentleman and I who has since moved on and is doing other things, he and I became Papa John's franchisees very early on in that concept. And when we became franchisees, we were one of the first franchisees to enter the Papa John's system. So fortunately, I was able to see a very successful concept start from the ground up.
It's interesting. I would say it's a good sign when a franchisee, their background was they were an accountant in their previous life, because that says a lot, because they know how to read the financial statements, so they know that they're onto something, So I think that's a great sign. The Penn Station has an interesting history. Could you tell our listeners a little bit about the history of the company?
Sure. Our founders and CEO is a gentleman by the name of Jeff Osterfeld, and Jeff comes from a family of entrepreneurs. And Jeff went to Miami University and graduated in 1982. And while Jeff was in school, he had to do a research project, and he just happened to pick a restaurant concept, and was, I don't want to say he was fascinated by it. I think intrigued is a better word. And when Jeff graduated with that eye on a family of entrepreneurs, he saw his buddies going to work for large companies and being transferred all over the country, and Jeff said, man, this is just not for me. So in 1983, he opened Jeffrey's Deli up in Dayton, Ohio. Jeff's a bright guy, but I think at the time he wasn't sure what he was doing. He just knew he wanted to work for himself.
Right.
And he played around with that for a couple of years, and what wound up happening, it was a little bit serendipity. What happened for Jeff is one of our competitors at the time opened up in the mall where Jeff was, and suddenly there was a line outside, of their stand with people ordering cheesesteaks. And at the time, Jeff didn't even know what a cheesesteak was. He was selling deli items, and that really was the start of Jeff saying, "Hey, I'm going to research this and find out what a cheesesteak and what East Coast subs are all about."
Wow, it's a great story. It's kind of like something I think our listeners can relate to now. We've seen, Craig, a lot. I know you've seen it. A lot of people downsize from, of course, corporate America. And it seems like, in doing the research, that a lot of people are hesitant to go back to corporate America. So I think franchising might be an alternative for a lot of these people. Have you seen that?
We've seen a little bit of it. I think that when I was listening to I was actually listening to the last gentleman you were interviewing, and I think that franchising is a great opportunity for people, but I think that people have to be cautious when they leave a big job in corporate America to go into say the restaurant industry. It's different and it's unique, and it's not an intellect thing. It's just a different type of job. You're very grassroots and getting dirty every day. And what we see, people who come to us in what you just described, someone has a mom who had a great chili recipe and suddenly they want to own their own restaurant. And I'm not sure that's the right reason. Just as your guy described earlier with standing in line thinking, gee, this place is crowded, I need to own one of those.
Yes, exactly. Oh, it's something. We've seen that. It was funny. We had there was an organization on our show. It was about, I guess, 2-3 weeks ago, Craig, and they work with professional athletes, helping them get into franchising or presenting franchising as an alternative. And I think I saw in one of your the testimonials from your franchisees. I think he might have played for the NFL, if I remember correctly.
That's right. Max Montoya, who you mentioned.
There you go. Okay, that was Max. Okay. And just, I thought, that was interesting. What have been some of the backgrounds of your franchisees before getting involved with Penn Station?
Well, most all of our franchisees have come to Penn Station with previous restaurant experience. And
right.
For those who haven't, we've asked them to partner with someone who does have restaurant experience.
Okay, good.
What we're looking for, and I think what I would look for if I were out there looking for a franchise concept is we want to teach people our systems and procedures, but we don't really want to teach them the restaurant industry per se.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. And when someone, let's say you guys are at a franchise show, Craig, and you have to describe the franchise system, what do you typically say to them?
Well, when I'm describing Penn Station, I tell them that we're a pretty simple concept. We're 14 grilled hot subs. We're fresh-cut fries made from Idaho potatoes, and we're fresh-squeezed lemonade. And I mentioned this is one of the first things. Our eye is on quality. But the second thing that we look for really it's an operational focus of trying to keep the menu and the operations simple and clean and tight for our franchisee, because anything that we do to complicate operations, there's a cost involved. And ultimately what we're selling is return on investment. And if we can't produce a superior return on investment to either other concepts or just other businesses, then investors are going to look somewhere else besides Penn Station.
Yeah, well said. And typically, I mean, those do make the best franchises, don't they? Is if the concept is simple. I find that as long as I've been studying franchising for over a decade, as you said, the more complicated things get, the more you add to it. It's just it's almost like it doesn't become a franchise anymore. It becomes.
I agree. What goes into adding a product to the menu, I don't think most people would recognize the complexity of that. When you're talking about having to, go out and spec a new product and then bring it into your distributor and try to time that with getting out to, either 225 or 2,500 restaurants to distribute that is a monumental task. And you can add something to the menu and at the end of the day not make any money on it at all. So when you're trying to maximize that return on investment to the people who invested in you, that becomes critical to analyze all of those things. It's not about driving royalty. Our revenue comes from a royalty stream, which is based upon franchisee sales. So if you think logically about this, we would in theory want to drive sales as high as possible for franchisees. That's true to the extent that we're making sure that they're maximizing their return on investment, because if they're not making money, then we're wasting their time.
You can see how your accounting background or your past life has you've been able to apply it to really what you're doing now is talking in terms of return on investment, which Don and I, talk about frequently on the show, how it's so important, to look towards those things. Very interesting. So the industry is pretty big. Are there any numbers or current numbers for this industry, Craig?
Before I got into the restaurant industry, I had probably a naive view, maybe most people in the public eye, of just often the restaurant industry is a beginning job for people in high school or college. And as I became a Papa John's franchisee, and the more I got involved through working with franchisees in the world of public accounting, what I found out was that the restaurant industry employs about 13 million people, and there's over 575,000 restaurants in the country right now. What amazes me, it's a $580 billion industry. So, to think it's a low-end job or a starting job couldn't be further from the truth. There's obviously a lot of people who get their first taste of work through restaurants, but that's really I don't want to say that's the exception, but it's a lot more than that.
How has technology played a role with Penn Station? I imagine things have changed a bit, over the years from when the company first started to where you are today. So what role has technology played in the business, Craig?
It's really played two roles.
It's
If you'd like to hear that whole interview with the Penn Station East Coast Subs franchise, all you have to do is go to franchiseinterviews.com, go to our franchise interviews by category page, and then just go to our food category, and you can listen to that whole interview. Coming up on segment 2, you're going to hear what every franchipreneur needs to know before buying a franchise. We're going to play a clip from our popular Great Quotes in Franchising podcast right here on Franchise Interviews.
The Stone Coat Franchise Opportunity. Are you looking for a unique and lucrative franchise opportunity? If so, take a look at Stone Coat. With a patented process which creates a true stone finish on almost any wall or ceiling, Stone Coat is a true game-changing product in the multi-billion-dollar construction industry. Stone Coat is applied faster, cleaner, and cheaper than conventional quarried stone, which saves both time and money. With advantages in remodel and new construction of both residential and commercial projects, Stone Coat is a true crossover product. The Stone Coat franchise opportunity provides a low startup cost, low operating expenses, comprehensive training, ongoing support, and no royalty payments. For more information on the Stone Coat franchise opportunity, go to www.stonecoatfranchise.com. That's www.stonecoatfranchise.com, or call us at 972-380-2700. That's 972-380-2700.
Today's Great Quote in Franchising is being brought to you by
The Stone Coat Franchise Opportunity. Are you looking for a unique and lucrative franchise opportunity? If so, take a look at Stone Coat. With a patented process which creates a true stone finish on almost any wall or ceiling, Stone Coat is a true game-changing product in the multi-billion-dollar construction industry. Stone Coat is applied faster, cleaner, and cheaper than conventional quarried stone, which saves both time and money. With advantages in remodel and new construction of both residential and commercial projects, Stone Coat is a true crossover product. The Stone Coat franchise opportunity provides a low startup cost, low operating expenses, comprehensive training, ongoing support, and no royalty payments. For more information on the Stone Coat franchise opportunity, go to www.stonecoatfranchise.com. That's www.stonecoatfranchise.com, or call us at 972-380-2700. That's 972-380-2700.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott, the President of Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. You know, Don and I have been hosting Franchise Interviews now almost years, and during that time, we've had some incredible quotes on the show. Today you're going to get to hear from Lawrence Doc Cohn, who is a veteran of the franchise industry, who first franchised Great American Cookies 33 years ago. He became the first ever franchisee inducted into the International Franchise Association Hall of Fame, and you're going to get to hear from him right now.
What made you decide to go into franchising, Doc? I mean, again, you had, a couple different choices, I guess, at that time of your life. What was it about, becoming a franchisee?
Well, I had been part of other startups, and I knew just how difficult it was to begin a concept. So let's just say I had wanted to be Doc's Cookies. Mm-hmm. I could have done that. I could have said, all right, well, now I've got to develop a recipe. I've got to do my marketing program. I've got to get the financing. I've got to do an operations manual. I've got to figure out how to do it. I've got to figure out where the locations ought to be. And your franchising, a lot of that's done for you already. A franchise provides a concept that's been proven and tested. Somebody else has done all that work. The systems are typically in place and have been revised over time to prove that they can be successful, and it was just a great way to go.
Question I've been dying to ask you is, what's changed in franchising? I mean, you've been involved in it for such a long time now. What are some of the biggest changes that you've seen, Doc, over that time?
Well, there have been a number of them. I think probably the most significant is the level of sophistication of the franchisee today, as opposed to when I went into it. And I don't I don't think I'm the most unsophisticated person in the world looking back, but I really went into this without doing sufficient homework. And so, as I said, a lot of this was luck back then. Today, franchisees are much more likely to have very strong legal advice, very strong financial advice, are familiar with things like business plans. I didn't know what a business plan was when I went into business. I had no idea what a business plan was. And today's franchisees are much more knowledgeable about those things. And today, franchisees are more likely to be multi-unit and multi-brand. That's something that has changed significantly over the years, is that today you find franchisees like myself, in fact, that operate multiple brands and sometimes across different companies. So, we have 2 brands for my own franchisor, and then I operate actually 3 other concepts.
Wow, it's interesting. Are you surprised about the number of franchise systems and the number of industries that are now franchising, Doc? I mean, when you first got into this, going back 33 years ago, I mean, there weren't as many systems, there weren't as many industries. I guess it might have been maybe a little easier to get into franchising because it seems like there's so many choices and so many industries today. Are you surprised at the number of systems and industries?
No, not at all. I mean, it's funny because 33 years ago, I was thinking, oh my gosh, how do I get to be a franchisee? You must really have to know somebody to get one of these franchises. And what I think's happened over the years is that as franchising has grown, people have recognized that it's such a great way to grow a business. So you have an entrepreneur who has this great idea, and the entrepreneur develops the idea and sees it bloom, and he or she gets going with it, and it's really fantastic. And then somebody else sees it and says, "Gee, that's a great idea. I'd like to do it." And as an entrepreneur, you may be sitting there with limited capital, and you say, "Well, yeah, I can teach you how to do this," and you really get excited about the prospect of teaching someone else how to do the business that you've developed and grown. And I think that's what's exciting about franchising. And that's why I think, for one reason anyway, why franchising has grown. It's a great way for an entrepreneur to get more rapid growth of a concept that he or she has developed.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you again soon with another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising from Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.
So thanks everyone for listening to today's show, and don't forget to go out and stop by your local sub franchise and celebrate National Sandwich Day, which is actually officially tomorrow, November 3rd. And thanks again for making this podcast such a big success. It's hard to imagine we are going on our 11th year of doing the show. So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week with another edition of Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.